Hey everyone, this is Pete, but live. I'm alone in the house this afternoon because my wife is away at a birthday party. So I thought I'd do a bit of streaming. I was going to do some this evening anyway, with Mon U, which we started last week. But I thought, since I'm probably just going to be sitting around playing video games anyway, I may as well stream some of them. So, what we are playing today is Silent Hope, which is an RPG from Marvelous. I believe it's sort of technically part of the Rune Factory universe. You can see it's got the story of Season's cows over there and there's some other Rune Factory references here and there. It's not a Rune Factory game, but it has certain elements in common with it, certainly. It's an action RPG in which the main concept is that something disastrous has happened to this kingdom, and the only person who still has a voice is this princess over here who's trapped inside a crystal. These 7 people around here, they emerged from the abyss, which is over here, as lights, but they can't talk. None of them can talk. So there's very minimal dialogue in this game, although the princess certainly makes up for that by rabbiting on about bollocks while you're in camp. But yeah, your basic aim is to delve into the abyss, figure out what happened, and hopefully put the problem right. And you have 7 different characters to choose from. You can switch between them at any time by talking to them in the camp here. And they all level up and progress independently of one another. So you can stick with one or you can try and level them all up. It's actually in your interests to try and level at least a couple of them, because you get certain benefits for switching between them in the middle of a dungeon crawl. They each have their own buffs that they'll give to each other when they swap out. So yeah, it is a good idea to have several on the go. I've been concentrating on this girl here, who is the farmer. She's actually a surprisingly effective combatant, using her pitchfork as a spear of sorts. So over here we have the bomber, who is originally an archer. They use a bow. We have the wanderer over here, who fights with sword and shield, I think. We have the fighter over here, who's a fist fighter, like a monk. We got the rogue, who is dressed as a maid, rather charmingly. We have the sage, who's your standard caster character. And we have the paladin over here, who fights with a great sword. And each of the characters have got their own set of skills. And when they reach, I think it's level 15, I think it was, they get promoted to a class that has higher stats and its own set of 3 skills. And once you're at that point, you can mix and match skills between those 2 classes. You can only have 3 equipped at once. But you can mix and match skills as you please. Then when you reach the end of the first post-game dungeon, you get... Alright there, Carnage. Yeah, good to see you. No problem. Nice to see you anyway. However long you can hang around for. So, yeah. And then that third class you unlock when you reach the end of the first post-game dungeon. I believe it is. So, I'm sort of quite a way through this game now. I'm on to the last main story dungeon, but there's quite a lot to do after that dungeon. So if we happen to clear that, then we'll have some stuff to do after that as well. But the last dungeon is actually pretty difficult. So I've been working my way through it very gradually, a bit at a time, and seeing how things go. Now, before you set off on an expedition, it's a good idea to set everyone who's not adventuring off doing something. So everyone can produce things according to the station that they're at. So the bomber here is in charge of the farm, so they get animal products. So most things require some sort of materials. So the animal products require certain types of fodder for the for them to produce food. And you see there's a timer on each one. It's not time based, it's based on the number of actions you do in the dungeon. So that won't start ticking down until we actually get into the dungeon. You can actually rush things as well with either money or the Sands of Time things that you'll find as treasures. But for the most part, you may as well just set them off doing things while you're dungeon crawling, because you'll be gaining experience while they're doing other stuff anyway. Okay, here we have got the fields, which grows vegetable crops, which are used in cooking. And cooking is really important in this because it gives you some really helpful buffs. So it's always good to have a whole bunch of ingredients on the go all the time. And you'll see you can upgrade each of those stations as you go. The rogue over here is in charge of the workshop, which produces lumber. So you need raw logs for them to start producing that. So we'll set her off doing some stuff. And again, these are used for other things, mostly crafting weapons and armor. Lumber is used for. And then the sage over here is an alchemist who will produce metals and crystals and things like that, which again are used in crafting equipment. So again, we'll set him off producing some stuff. And you find loads of raw materials in the dungeon while you're exploring. Alright, everyone is good to go. I am well equipped. So let's gaze into the abyss and head down to this last area here. Like I say, don't worry too much about having missed the beginning of this game, because there's not really any ongoing story in this game. You're just working your way down through this dungeon. It's a very mechanics focused game. It's all about progressing through the dungeon, getting as far as you can, leveling up your characters and all that. Actually, before we do that, let's do a little bit of cooking. So let's get some hot milk, which improves strength. Let's get some turnip fried rice, which improves experience gain. And let's get some skill power up from the turnip stir fry. So before you set off on an expedition, you gobble up some food, up to 3 at a time. It's, what did we say? Turnip stir fry, skill power plus 6. Alright, and off we go. Now, I've previously got down to a checkpoint in this dungeon, which is floor 11. So we will go from there. And off we go. Right. And once we're into the dungeon, it is your standard sort of isometric action RPG format. With quite a strong emphasis on skill use. So the farmer here has a skill where she can summon a bunch of birds, which then get launched at her opponents, which is this skill here. She has a thrust skill, which basically pierces through enemies, and she has a conal attack in front of her, which hits multiple times. So you can also use her normal attack, but the deeper down in the dungeon you go, the less effective that becomes. So by this point in the game, you'll probably want to be relying mostly on your skills and just sort of finishing things off. Yeah, there's very Torchlight vibes in this, absolutely. It's sort of a nice breezy art style. It's fairly relaxed and chilled out. And it's designed to very much be focused on the mechanics rather than any sort of complicated story. So if you like killing stuff, getting experience, kill stuff, gain points, get loot. That's what this is all about. Then around the dungeon we have these traps here, so you can set off those exploding barrels. You see our eggs ready now because we've taken enough actions for that to happen. So when we get back to the base, that'll be ready for us. And there's our turnips. So those are fairly basic crops. So you see they're produced quite quickly. Pressure pads for cannon traps there. Those are quite useful, especially on these later stages where the traps start doing quite hefty damage to both you and enemies. This chappie over here, not very dangerous by himself, but that purple area he summons buffs any enemies that go into it, so it's a good idea to try and get rid of him as soon as you can. And you see as we hack away at the plants and rocks and things in the dungeon, we get various raw materials. The enemies all drop stuff as well. Sometimes they're ingredients for things, sometimes they're actually equipment. The loot in this is quite interesting because you never actually get any equipment directly as a drop. You get what's called the memory of some equipment. And what that means is it's basically a recipe for something. So it still has the standard sort of Diablo style rarities for different types of loot. So you got your common, your rare, your super rare, and your legendary. But in order to actually use it, you've got to craft it when you get back to camp. So I think that's quite good because it means you don't get absolutely overwhelmed with carrying around a bunch of equipment that you won't need, and you won't get tempted to switch too often because you've actually specifically got to make an effort to craft that equipment. You will find that you're changing your loadout much less frequently than in something like Diablo or maybe even Torchlight. This little mole dude here, he will teleport you somewhere else. And down at the bottom right, you'll see we've got a little mini-map, which we can bring up to in the middle of the screen with the tap of a button. The blue arrow that is going around my character on the map, that indicates the direction of the exit. So if you're trying to sort of race through and make progress, that's the direction you need to be heading. But as we'll probably see at some point, a lot of levels in the dungeon have kind of a prerequisite before you can actually go through the exit. You might need to flip a switch or go through a particular portal or teleport somewhere. So yeah, you see her basic attack doesn't really do very much damage at all compared to her skills. And the skills have a pretty quick cooldown, so which you can see in the lower left of the screen with the 3 button icons. But she does have the advantage of her pitchfork has quite a wide arc on it, so it can hit multiple enemies at once. Here's one of those memories I was talking about, so we can see that's a pitchfork for her. It's rank 3, which is the same as her current level of equipment. Let's pick that up because it's a blue one, so it's a super rare one. And equipment rarity in this determines how many additional abilities it has on top of the basic strength. So if we look at my current equipment, I'm using a blue one at the moment. It's got basic attack damage 87 to 89. It's also got critical damage boost 44%, and rune gain 20. 20 is your runes, is your currency. It's also got Magistains fitted in it, which increases our crit rate by 15% and increases experience gain by 10. So not every equipment has a Magistain slot, but quite a lot of them do. They can also add elemental affinities to your weapons, which is very useful in the later dungeons. Right, you see the road to the exit is pointing somewhere over to the left, but we haven't been over there yet, so it must be one of these pathways we haven't taken yet. So I reckon it's probably down here and around, or perhaps this is teleport. Yeah, it's looking like down here. You see there's some fun chain reactions with traps and things. Whoops, missed. And as always with games like this, positioning and making sure you don't get overwhelmed is super important. You've got a quick dodge, which has got some nice invincibility frames on it. And enemies tend to telegraph their attacks quite obviously, so you can get out of the way. You'll see how a big charge attack stuns enemies, which is very helpful. That crystal there, that's a place you can swap characters if you want to. And in fact, I think we will go and do that in a moment, just so we can take advantage of the buffs. So like I say, it's a good idea to level a couple of your characters as you play, because that means you can swap between them and you can take advantage of those buffs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this crystal that's over in this area, and I'm going to swap out my character to one of the others, and then swap back to the farmer at that other crystal. So if we take, let's take the paladin for an example. So you see at the moment it says move speed plus 2%. That's the farmer's buff that she's going to apply to the paladin. So we now switch to the paladin, who is far too low level to be here, which is why I've cleared out all the enemies beforehand. And you'll see the little buff icon above the hit point bar with the fork on it, indicating that it's the farmer's buff that's currently applied, which is an increase to movement speed. And then we come back to this crystal over here and switch back to the farmer. You see we've now got a critical damage boost of 30% from the paladin, and we keep the previous buff from the farmer as well. So we're now moving faster and we're doing more damage with critical hits. So even if you haven't leveled the other characters, it's a good idea to find an opportunity to switch between them if you can, because those buffs can be quite significant. They're sort of on the same level as you could get from a decent piece of equipment. So they're worth doing, certainly. Yeah, enemy setting off the trap on himself. Always a welcome sight. You see that those traps do pretty significant damage to a lot of the enemies, which is good. And we got these chaps over here to deal with. More loot. I reached a point where the common items just aren't really worth collecting anymore. Because what I want from now is either a rank 4 weapon, which should start showing up a little bit later in this dungeon, or something that has better stats than my current one. So what I'm particularly looking for at the moment is things that increase her damage, maybe increase damage from the specific skills that I'm using. Increased experience gain is nice. Not essential by any means, but it is nice to be able to progress a little bit quicker. But yeah, at the moment, being able to do more damage is probably the most useful thing, because the enemies in this dungeon are quite tough. Those witch enemies split into bats when you kill them. And smash! So yeah, you can probably see from the damage numbers there's a difference of several hundred points of damage between the basic attack and the skills. So the skills are worth using as much as possible. And with the cooldowns being so short, there's really no reason not to. So And there's quite a lot of flexibility in terms of how you fight, depending on the skills that you've chosen. It pays to specialise in maybe in 3 of them at a time. Just so you can level up each of those skills independently of each other. And you're not left with any that are underpowered. So at the moment, the 3 skills I've got for the farmer are completely maxed out. They max out at level 5. So if we look at the screen here, we've got Out of My Way level 5. That does piercing damage with a cooldown of 7.5 seconds. Birdie Buddies is our summon birds. And Get Lost is a conal attack. And you see we can't level those up anymore. But you still get skill points with each level. So if I wanted to, I could put some experience points into other skills. So I could swap them out situationally. You can also reset your skill points at any point as well. So there's no need to agonise over it too much. If you do make a mistake, you can just reset them. There's no cost or penalty to do that. You just do it. Right, so there's the exit to that floor. At the start of the game, each floor is very, very short. But because we're on the last main story dungeon now, each floor is getting pretty long. And there's 29 floors in this dungeon. We're currently heading into number 12. Right, this thing here will give you a challenge. Defeat 12 monsters in a row without taking any damage before reaching the next floor. And if you successfully do that, you will get a bunch of experience and some runes. So they're worth doing. Because we have to find some enemies first. And then take care not to take any damage. So let's be a bit cautious. So that's 3 out of 12. Watch out for the witch's ranged attacks. And take her out with the birds. Got to be a bit careful here because the bats can be a bit of a pain to deal with. Because they're very small, it's quite hard to see their attacks sometimes. That's 7 out of 12 done. There is a crystal. I'm not going to switch characters just yet because I want to find a second crystal so I can switch back to the farmer because I'm focusing on her at the moment. Right, 10 out of 12. $11 out of 12, just one more to go, and then we don't have to worry about taking damage. So, send it in the birds. There we are. So, 980 experience and 350 runes for that. That's quite significant at this point in the game. Oh, missed. I love that bird attack. It just homes in on anything nearby, and it does a significant amount of damage too. It's such a good skill. Right, that's a mole up there. So he'll take us somewhere else. Let's finish exploring this area first. See what's going on down here. Oh, and it's a mole that way as well. Okay, let's try this one. See where we end up. Sometimes you find those moles just take you to a different part of the area you've already been to, but this one appears to have taken us to somewhere completely new that is detached from the area we were exploring previously. So that's good. And we're going in the right direction for the exit as well, judging by the map. That was a good stab. Oops. So you see the kind of purple aura around her attacks at the moment means that she is attacking with a dark element weapon due to the dark stone she's got attached to it. That means she's got more effectiveness against these yellow enemies, which you'll see when they appear. They have a little moon icon that indicates they are weak against moon attacks. And you might be able to see when you hit them, that icon actually flashes to show that you are dealing the right kind of damage to do additional harm to them. What's over here? Another mole. And what about this way? Another mole. This is just like a mirror image of that first area, isn't it? And another mole. I think this one's probably the right direction, because those other two were the same colour as the previous ones we saw. Yeah, love that bird attack. It's such a good attack. Set off the traps. Those explosive barrels are very effective in the early stages of the game, but they become quite a bit less effective as you go on, because they only do a flat 400 damage, which is okay, but considering a lot of my skills are hitting for over 1,000 at this point, they don't make a huge difference. Whereas the cannons, they hit for over 1,000. So a good hit with a cannon is sort of almost equivalent to hitting with a skill. Oh, he's just out of range of them. Wallop. Die! Well, that guy up there is causing us harm. Ow. Now getting a bit low on hit points. You notice there's no hit point regeneration in this, and you also don't pick up any healing potions. So just to the right of my hit point bar, you can probably see a potion icon with the L button icon. That shows I've got 2 potions, and those are the 2 potions you get for this expedition. There is a means of getting a couple more, but it's very, very luck based. It's dependent on finding a certain sort of friendly creature that can restore your hit points, and a specific type of that friendly creature who will also give you a potion. But you can only ever carry 2. So if you're carrying a potion, it will automatically resurrect you if you keel over dead. But it won't heal as many hit points as if you'd use the potion manually. So ideally, you want to heal when you absolutely need to. But you also want to try and save your potions for as long as you can. That's the other reason that switching characters is quite helpful, is because each character has 2 potions per expedition. So if you've got several characters who are leveled to the right, who are leveled up enough for your current dungeon, then it means you can just switch to another one and you've got 2 more potions to use. For me, I've got maybe 3 characters who could handle this dungeon at the moment. But the farmer is doing the best by far at the moment. So I'd like to stick with using her as much as possible. You also get fully healed when you level up as well, so that's another reason why having some extra experience gain is handy. Which was not too good. Yeah, ranged enemies in this can be quite dangerous, as you can probably tell. But there are a couple of characters who are ranged characters in their own right as well, and they can be quite dangerous in return, so... Right, you see, the birds didn't do a huge amount of damage to this enemy here because I got a dark element weapon, and she is a dark element enemy, so she's basically strong against the attacks that I've got at the moment. Which is one of the awkward things about this dungeon, is you have both light and dark enemies in this dungeon. And you can only attach one element to your weapon at a time. So again, you could use the character switch mechanic to get around that. You could have one character set up to do dark damage, one set up to do light damage, but as you saw, we're limited on how much we can switch characters by those crystals. So in practice, I think it's probably best to just stick with one or the other and just suck it up that you will have to do some extra damage to characters that are strong against whatever you're currently set up to do. Right, so we got a switcheroo there. There was another one elsewhere on this level, I think, wasn't there? It's a long way away from where we are. Yeah, it's miles away, so don't know if it's going to be worth trying to do a quick switch. Here's another dark enemy who needs light element to do additional damage. So he ends up effectively being a bit tougher than normal. But you see, there are a lot of these light enemy geckos that we're dealing with as well. So on balance, I think dark is probably the way to go at the moment. Right, I think we're cleared out here. Yeah, I can't even see where the other crystal is on the map. So I don't think it's worth pursuing. Let's just head to the next level. And there it is. So, making decent progress so far. I was having a lot of trouble with this dungeon when I first arrived at it, because I think I was slightly under-leveled for it. But now at level 35, it feels relatively comfortable. Right, complete the monster rush within 60 seconds. So, if you look over on the far right of the screen, you'll see a sort of column of things representing the various floors. And it shows you different icons representing whether you're going to have to deal with a monster rush, whether there's any of those crystals that you can switch characters on. So the little green face there means that there is a monster rush, which is what we are about to encounter. Not super confident going into this with not very much health, but let's see how it goes. I do have 2 potions. I'd rather not use if I can avoid it. But let's just see how things go. I'm not going to worry too much about trying to complete it in a minute, because I just want to survive and take minimal damage. 30 seconds to go. Oh no, confused. Oh no, we're okay. Yeah, some nasty little dudes in here. Oh, that was not an accurate stab. Keep throwing birds. Keep throwing birds. Oh, confused. So you see, there's no real consequences for failing those trials other than you don't get the bonus. So it's not the end of the world at all. Right, we do have 2 crystals on this level, and they're very close to each other. So let's take advantage of that and get another buff. So let's switch out with the rogue. So rogue I've not really used very much at all. She's only level 13, so she is absolutely not suitable for this dungeon. So we'll switch back to the farmer, and you see we now get rune gain plus 20%, so we get more money. More money drops now, which is nice. And on to the next floor. We've got another monster rush on the next floor. Could really do with leveling up. And get all those hit points back without having to use a potion. Complete the monster rush within 60 seconds. I don't think I will. I'm just going to take my time and be careful. Deal with the ranged dudes. And keep throwing birds. Got a trap to deal with on this one, which is not ideal. Do you see the animations on the enemies? They have quite a big wind up when they do their attacks, so you can prepare for those attacks quite easily. And enemies tend to be either melee or ranged, not both. So these bees, they are relatively safe to attack when you're up close to them. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm about to use my potion. There we go. Well, it's better than dying. You see over on the right we've got a kill combo meter. So the more enemies you kill in succession, the bigger experience bonus you get. Alright. Have we got... No, just 1 crystal on this level. So no switcheroos for us. And we got a boss on the next floor. Right, here he is. So this guy isn't a super major boss or anything, but these guys can still be quite dangerous. They are unique enemies that you haven't come across before. But if we fling birds at him, all will be well. Thankfully, we are equipped appropriately to deal hefty damage to him, as he is weak against dark. Oh, he can heal his minions. That's no good, is it? You, sir, are getting a birding. Completely missed. Absolutely remarkable. Uh-oh. Taking some hefty damage. But then so is he. Well, let's use the potion. Be safe. If you look at the floor map, there is a campfire in the next level. Ooh, rank 4 stuff. There's a campfire in the next level, which means that's a checkpoint that we can restart from. And a new recipe. Very nice. So what we'll do, we will actually go back to base after this, since we reached the checkpoint. And return. Alright, that was a good and productive expedition. Got some rank 4 treasure recipes out of it. And a decent amount of experience. Alright, good. We also completed some of these challenge missions, which gives you stuff. And go and collect all our products from our friends. Lots of delicious foods. And some delicious wood. And some yummy golden crystals. Right, let's have a look at the rank 4 stuff we found. So we found a bountiful bow. That's the only rank 4 weapon we found. We've got a rich ring. How is that compared to what we've got? So at the moment I'm using a gold ring, which is a rank 3 weapon. That has 39% magic resistance on it. That one has 45% defense, so that one takes 8.4% off skill cooldown. And that one has a Magistone stop. I think that's probably worth having. Alright, so what have I currently got equipped? I've got a greater light stone in there, which will reduce damage from light element enemies. So let's swap that over. So rank 4. Let's equip that. And then let's put that greater light stone in it. Transfer it from that other ring, because we don't need that anymore. And then let's also pop over to the smith again and upgrade that item that we've got. So what was it? It was a ring, wasn't it? So rich ring, rank 4. Upgrade. So for upgrading stuff you need parts, which you get from disassembling equipment you don't need. And runes, so money. And you can rank everything up to rank level 5. Makes it a bit more effective. Right, so let's get everyone producing again. Just make a bit of everything, as everything here is always useful. Milk, egg, butter, cream and cheese. Sounds like a party to me. Right, what is useful to have? Turnips. Oh, always good. Rice is helpful for a lot of recipes. Wheat is used in quite a few things. Leeks. And some onions. Alright. Let's get wood, as it were. Oops. So concentrating on getting the sort of highest level materials, because they tend to correspond to the equipment that they make. And make a bit of platinum. And some more platinum. And some more platinum. Maybe a little more platinum. Oops. And some gold. Right, good stuff. Let's cook. Let's have some hot milk. Let's have some turnip fried rice again. And turnip stir fry. That seemed to be a nice combo of buffs from the food that we had there. Right, hot milk, turnip fried rice. Ooh, do we want to increase crit stuff? No, let's go with what we had before. That seemed to be a nice combination of stuff. Let's continue from floor 16 out of 29. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly, slowly but surely. Right, this sparkly thing here, this will cause the princess to tell us stuff. We who remained stared at each other in stunned surprise. Yet more surprises were soon to come. Everyone suddenly lost the will to fight. And that wasn't the only thing they lost. My people became voiceless, mysteriously deprived of speech itself. I knew at once what had happened. My father sought to quell the conflict by robbing of their ability to speak. So the old king stole everyone's voices. So the background to all this is that the kingdom suffered, I guess, string of disasters. So they had a poor harvest, they had a terrible winter, then a volcano erupted. They really didn't catch a break for quite a while. And so, as you might expect, the citizens became somewhat restless. And the king didn't like that very much. So he stole their voices. Which is not very nice. And that's why no one says anything in this game. Although you'll notice, I think it's technically he stole their words and their language rather than their voices, because otherwise you'll notice that the farmer has been making noises for the entire time we've been playing, but she hasn't actually said any words. So the only one who still has words and the ability to communicate is the princess. Still only getting rank 3 treasure from most things. Let's see some more rank 4 stuff, please. Poke! Fire the birds! Willow. Smash! Oh, we did level up at the end of the last run. That's good. Okay. Which way? So that way's a mole. Let's explore this way then. Oh, there's nothing this way. I guess we have to take the mole then. Take me away. Yeah, I've had this game for a while now, and when I first started it, I wasn't quite sure what to think of it, because I have historically been someone who prefers narrative-centric games, but I have found that in more recent years I've started enjoying mechanics-focused games a lot more. So I've started enjoying dungeon crawlers a lot more. I've started enjoying games like this a lot more, where the focus is very much on progression, improving your characters, getting new equipment, that sort of thing. I still love a good story game. Like, it's probably still my preference. But I do find myself gravitating towards these sort of games a lot more than I used to. There's a switch that will open a gate that was blocking the exit. And yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to make of this game when I first started playing it. My friend Chris, whose opinion I trust very much, was very enamoured with it when he first picked it up. It didn't have amazing reviews or anything like that, because I think a lot of people go into this expecting there to be more story than there is. And also the presentation's quite simple. If you look at the Steam reviews for this, there's a lot of people going, "Ooh, it looks like a mobile game," and you know what? They're not entirely wrong there. But the more I play it, the more I like it. Because it is simple and straightforward. It is kind of a brain-off sort of game. You don't have to think about it too hard. But sometimes that's exactly what you want. It makes it a good game for streaming, for example, because it means you can easily talk over the top of it without having to keep being interrupted for dialogue sequences and that sort of thing. And it's one of those games where if you just want to play something, and you don't want to have to think about it too hard, but you want to play something that is satisfying and feels like you're achieving something, feels like you're making some meaningful progress through something. This kind of caters to that desire very well. The combat is straightforward and satisfying and highly customizable. So if you played this and you chose to be the farmer, you wouldn't have to fight in this way at all if you didn't want to. If you preferred some of her other skills, you could make use of those instead. I'm sure the insufferable theory crafters of the internet have sucked all the fun out of this game by determining what are the best abilities and all that, and what is the most efficient way to play the game. But you know what? You don't have to pay any attention to that if you don't want to. I've been becoming increasingly conscious of this in the last few years. Like when I play a game, the temptation is to look up a walkthrough and to determine the optimal way to play. And that is a great way of sucking the fun out of something. By just following someone else's guides that they just made up. They just made up in a lot of cases. Because I've come across all too many guides that say this is the best way to complete this section of this game. And you know what? It often isn't. It's often just a way to complete that section. And as soon as I started realizing that you do not have to follow the suggested way to play that someone else has made up off the top of their head, often without any real data. Sometimes with data, but often without any real data. You'll have a lot more fun. So yes, I may not be playing this game in the absolute optimal possible way, but who cares? I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying my time with this game because I'm playing it the way I want to play it. Now, there are situations where you need to take the ideas and opinions of others into account. Like, MMOs are a good example. Ouch. So, like, there is usually a best set of equipment or an optimal strategy for encounters in MMOs. And I think a lot of MMOs really suffer for that. Oh, this is one of the friendly creatures who can heal you. Not the one who'll give you a bonus potion, but he will give you a bunch of hit points back, which is nice. Yeah, like Final Fantasy XIV. I love that game, and I always will. But the way a lot of the community likes to play drives me bonkers, because they're like, oh, instead of just letting things happen naturally, you should get out the spreadsheets. You should use this tracker that someone's made on their website. And it's just like, why are you, at that point, why are you bothering to play the game? If all you're going to do is follow someone's spreadsheet. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people get something out of it. My wife still plays a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, and she uses all those spreadsheets and that sort of thing. So yeah, I guess there are people who get something out of that, but that's not me. That's not me anymore. I'm not sure it ever was me, because I've used guides and walkthroughs for games, but most of the time when it comes down to it, I just muddle my own way through. And it might not be the fastest or the most efficient or the quote-unquote best way to play, but it works. I've finished a lot of games, and in playing them in my own way, I feel like I've learned a lot about their mechanics, about how they're designed. And as such, oops, I feel a lot more able to talk about them with some degree of authority and knowledge, which is useful for when I want to write about them. It's useful for when I want to make videos about them. It's useful for when I want to stream about them. So while I'm playing this game, I feel pretty confident about how I can explain everything about it, explain how it works. Hits a combo bonus of 14 before reaching the next floor. Okay, so I've got to kill 14 enemies in quick succession. Don't know if I'm going to manage that, but let's give it a go. It can't hurt to try. Now that's 2 and 3, 4. The witches are really useful enemies for challenges like this, because you effectively get 4 kills for the price of 1. Because you kill the witch, and then they split into 3 bets. Right, 13. Come on, one more. 14. There we go, done. 1,120 experience for that. Very nice indeed. Okay, lovely stuff. Loot, rank 3. Yeah, better than nothing. Better than nothing. Oh, ow. Yeah, the one fortunate thing about the explosive barrel not doing very much damage is they don't do very much damage to you either. So while they do 400 damage to enemies, they only do 20 damage to you. Which means it's really not the end of the world if you get hit by one at this stage. Right, everything seems to have been cooked back at base. Right, how are we looking on floors? We've got a monster rush coming up in 2 floors' time. Oh, ow. Ow, stop that. Get away from me. Yeah, gaining just a couple of levels has really started to make this particular dungeon quite a bit easier. So I think it was about level 30 when I arrived at this dungeon, and everything was just a bit too tough to be comfortable. But we're at a stage now where killing stuff with their elemental weakness is pretty easy. Just takes 1 or 2 skills. The standard attack still very underpowered, but it just is at this point in the game. With how much you can use your skills, there's really no point in trying to rely on your basic attack. Because you got the skills, so why not use them? Smash! Maybe just use it to finish them off like that. Wallop. She sounds so serious when she's doing that attack. And then she's basically going tweet tweet when she throws out the birds. Bless her little heart. Ooh. These big dudes are a pain. Especially because they have quite a nasty ranged attack on them. You know what to do with that, though? Release the birds. And then stab. Many stabs. Still only getting rank 3 treasures. That's a bit disappointing. Well, hopefully that will change soon, as we're beyond the halfway point of this dungeon now. Oh, is that our second crystal? It is! Let's do another swapsies. Let's swap out for... So Ray gave us more runes, which is okay, but not amazing for our purposes right now. I'm not short on money. Let's try the sage. See what he gives us. I like the sage's dodge move because he's a wizard. He doesn't dodge like the others. He just teleports. Right. And then so, skill power plus 20%. That's definitely worth having. That is a tasty buff. Alright, remember that. Remember that. A sage gives you big bonus to damage. Right. Where are we going? Should be off to the left somewhere. This way? Yep, lovely stuff. Where are we up to now? Floor 18, I think? 17. No, 18. There we go. I was going to say. Reach the gate to the next floor without using any healing potions. I think I can probably do that. We just play a bit cautiously. This is just a... Oops. This is just a normal floor as well. So no monster rush or anything to worry about. Eat birds. Ow. Caught right in the middle of that. Smashy, smashy through the middle. Lovely stuff. We've taken a fair bit of damage already, but I think we'll be okay. We're halfway to the next level as well. Keep birding. Keep flinging those birds. And stab. That was a nice stab. That was a poor stab. That charging stab is such a sort of mixed blessing because it's really powerful when it hits and it stuns things. But it's quite tricky to aim it. Oops. We got another pair of crystals here. May as well take advantage of that and get some more buffs. More birds for you, right in your face. So yeah, like I say, when I first started playing this game, I really wasn't sure about it. But it's one that I kept coming back to. It's a game that, when I thought about starting something new, I thought, oh, I should finish Silent Hope. I should finish Silent Hope first. Right, who haven't we done yet? So we've done Sage. Don't think we've done him yet. Yeah, I just kept thinking to myself, oh, I should finish Silent Hope, and like I wasn't thinking that with any sense of resentment or anything like that. And I was thinking, oh god, because you know, if I felt that, I would just stop playing it. But something kept coming back, something kept me coming back to it. And just in like the last week or so, I've kind of really focused on it a lot more than I have done in the past, and I've been having a great time with it. So it's not a game that I would necessarily recommend to everyone, because you do have to be on board with a game that is not big on the story, very focused on its mechanics. And you just need to generally be on board with the whole loot RPG formula. Which, to be fair, a lot of people are already. It historically hasn't been my favourite type of RPG, but like I say, in the last few years or so, I've really started to come round a lot more on mechanics-focused games. Or mechanics-focused RPGs, specifically. It's like they're having a lot more fun with them, started appreciating what they're doing a lot more. And I think an important thing to remember is that not every game you play has to be some great artistic, quasi-literary experience. It's nice when you do play those things, of course. Right, that is a memory rift gate over there. That takes you to a sort of sub-dungeon where the enemies are much more powerful. They're worth a bit more experience and you get nicer loot. But it's much harder. And I am currently trying to get through this floor without using any healing potions. So what I might do... We've got another campfire in a couple of floors. So what I might do is try and get to the end of the floor normally, so we get the bonus, and then go back and do that rift, because we might have some nice loot in there. It's like a new weapon would be really nice. Like a rank 4 weapon, if possible. That'd be cool. Stab. Ooh, just missed him. There's my switch. Okay, so I can reach that gate now and get our experience bonus. It's just through here. 840 experience. Very nice. Right, let's go and do that memory rift. So a little bit low in life, but we do still have 2 potions, and like I say, there's There's a bonfire coming up in 2 floors time, so we should be good. We should be all good. Oh, it's a monster rush. Okay, that's fine. There's no time limit or anything, so we can just take our time over it. Just kill everything a bit at a time, carefully. So in a memory rift, you face the same monsters as on the floor that it was on. But they are elite versions, which are indicated by them having a question mark in their names. So that means they hit a bit harder, and they have more hit points. So they're a bit tougher to kill. And a little bit more dangerous. But not impossible by any means. So as I say, if you just take your time over encounters like this, everything will turn out fine. And of course, keep flinging birds. Always be flinging. ABF. More of you. Get out of here. Get out of my face with your big bear paws. Stab. Stab. Lovely. Okay, going nicely. As I say, because they're elites, I think they're worth a bit more experience as well. So, although it is dangerous to come into these memory rifts, it is worth your while. And they always conclude with a nice pair of treasure chests. There's still only rank 3 stuff though, that is disappointing. But it's okay. It's okay, because we got some other rewards out of that. Right, and then that takes you straight to the exit. Alright, we got a monster rush on this floor. Complete the monster rush within 60 seconds. I'm not going to worry too much about that. If we do it, great. I'm not going to rush though. So I just want to... Safety is more important than speed. Oh, he says, getting caught right in the middle of a bunch of bees. Bees! Right, and as you probably noticed, those trees are spawning more bees in. I've been slowed. That's no good. Stab. Got another wave, or is this the end of it? Of course there's another wave. Yeah. This is not... Whoop. This is not happening in a minute. Oh, it might actually. Oh, just no, I didn't just miss because there was a whole other wave of them. Oh god, so many of them. Should I use a potion? I should probably use a potion, but you know. I should definitely use a potion. There we go. I was holding it off as late as possible. But no, down to 30 hit points. That is use a potion without guilt time. They managed to take a fair few of themselves out with those traps though, didn't they? There we go. Right. Onward! Right, we're on floor 20 of 29. Looks like we're going to have a string of monster rushes ahead of us. I've got one potion. Should I go back? No, let's press on for now. Now bereft of words, people could no longer complain or express contempt. It was as if everything that had happened was just a bad dream. He must have thought this act would restore peace to our kingdom. However, that peace didn't last for long. So many people came to regret how they'd acted. But even if they wanted to apologize, they simply didn't have the words. Ooh, what is that thing? He looks potentially dangerous. I'm sure he's fine though. Mecha soldier. Oh, he's weak against piercing. That's good. What with me having a piercing weapon and all. Oh, I see rank 4 stuff. It's a rank 4 common, but it's a rank 4 nonetheless. That hopefully means we'll see some more treasure of that ilk. Got bomb throwing baddies to deal with now. Stab! Also weak against piercing. Farmer was a good choice. Sorry, she's technically not a farmer anymore because she's her promoted class. She's a ranger now. Stab. Yeah, the big robot is a lot less threatening than I expected. Pretty easy to kill. Level up! That's what I like to see. And as we said earlier, level up comes with a full heal as well, which can be an absolute lifesaver sometimes. Twinkle Rod Memory, rank 4, green, and uncommon. Not suitable for the farmer, of course. But a good sign that we are starting to get better treasures. Yeah, we might actually make it to the end of this dungeon today. So from what I understand, there are like 5 main dungeons that make up the main story of this game. When you beat that 5th dungeon, you unlock two more dungeons that are sort of post-game dungeons. But you also unlock 2 more difficulty levels. So hard and master difficulty. that you can do the previous dungeons at. So there is plenty to keep playing for if you enjoy the old gear grindstone. Stab the tree. Right, I think we've had a pair of crystals on this level, haven't we? So we can go and get ourselves another buff, which will be nice. Would like to get that potion I used back, but like I say, that's very luck based on whether you stumble across one of those friendly animals that will actually give you a potion. Oh, we've got 3 crystals on this level. So we can get a bunch of new buffs. So here, haven't we buffed with yet? We haven't used the bomber. Or the archer. And we haven't used the fighter yet either, I don't think. Skill cooldown minus 5% from the bomber. That's worth having. Let's just use our skills a little bit more often. I have a cat. Hello, Oliver. You come to join in? It's not dinner time yet. You just want to be part of what's going on, do you? Okay. Right, and back to Farmer. Yes, I think the only buff we don't have now is the rogue, because we've got 6 buffs. So it's just the rogue's buff we don't have now. Oh, there's a memory rift down there. Let's go and do that. Oh, hello. Oh, excuse me. I do apologise if that blew your ears off. It kind of caught me unawares. So hopefully now rank 4 treasures are starting to show up in the standard dungeon. The memory rift may have some in there as well. I can hope anyway. I can hope. And if there aren't, well, it's all experience. It's all experience and currency. It's all useful. Right, where are we going? Through here. Right, not a monster rush this time, just a standard dungeon type area. So they do tend to be a lot of enemies to deal with. we go. Break through rather than getting cornered. That's the one thing that charge move is very useful for, is breaking through situations like that. Because it knocks enemies out of the way and it stuns them. And it can quite often get you out of a sticky situation. Again, just take our time. There's no need to rush through this. There's no time limit, no challenge, nothing like that. So just make sure we deal with everything methodically and safely. Very nice. What have we got here? Rank 3. Disappointing. Oh god, we got one of those gates to deal with in a memory rift. That's a level of meta I wasn't ready for. As normally what you can do on a level with a memory rift is you can go into the memory rift instead of having to track down one of those switches. Because when you come out the memory rift, it just plonks you right next to the exit. But if the memory rift also has one of those gates to deal with, you're not really saving yourself any time. You try and fire arrows at me, you dirty little bastard. Oh, ow. Yeah, pay attention to where those cannons are. Because one switch often sets off several of them. Ow. Yeah, not surprised you're dazed after that. That looked like it hurt. Alright, switch is just up ahead. And we're done. With relatively minimal damage to life and limb. Always send out the birds. Oh, look how little of their health bar 1200 damage is. Yeah, these guys are pretty tough. Stab! Yeah, reliably doing... I go with 2,000 points of damage per stab on the cone attack, and on the stab attack. When we're hitting a weakness, anyway. A little bit less when we're not. So it looks like the elemental weaknesses are more effective than the damage type weaknesses. Ideally, what you want is to hit both. But that requires a level of optimization I'm frankly not willing to put in. Because that would involve making notes. And I just want to hit the things and make the bars go up and down. Make the numbers pop out. Make my experience bar get bigger, while their health bars get smaller. That's all I'm really interested in. Stab! Missed. Got you with the beds, they didn't I? Alright, we done yet? We are done. Here's the treasure chests. Still rank 3. Very disappointing game. I'm very disappointed with you. Right. Onwards to floor 21. I love how casual they look when they're dropping down the big hole. Reach the gate to the next floor without using any healing potions. Okay, I reckon I can probably do that. Oh, over 5,000 damage there. Very nice indeed. Gotta remember, we got that buff to our skill effectiveness active, which is, I'm sure that's helping a lot. Ow. You dodge. You dodge. I will stab you with a pitchfork. Ooh, a new type of bee. Leave me be. Oh dear. The puns, they burn. Oh, that was poor. They are being generated somewhere, aren't they? Here. Right. Ow. Not feeling quite so cocky about that challenge anymore. It's okay. Still got 317 hit points. Everything is fine. What's over here? Just a mole. Where are you taking us, Mr. Mole? Another rank 4 treasure. I certainly won't turn that down. Oh, and I think it's a rank 4 treasure we actually need as well. Or is it? No, we need, like, earrings. Because we got the ring last time, didn't we? Still, it's something that another character can be equipped with. Beanful ball. Don't shoot me. It's not very nice. I will shoot you with my birds of death. And you won't like it. You won't like it. Ow. No other crystals that I've seen. We've only got one more buff we need to get anyway. And it's just an improvement to rune drops. Which is not mega helpful at the moment. Although, from what I understand, end game equipment is very expensive in this. You've got a mimic over there. Let's not worry about him too much until we've cleared out some of these other guys first. As we are starting to get a little bit low on health now. We're only halfway to the next level. Leveling has slowed down. Leveling slows down massively after about level 30 in this game. So it's quite easy to get characters up to around about level 25, 30 or so. After that, it slows down quite a bit. Oops. So it's by no means a game where you need to sort of excessively grind in order to progress to the next dungeon or anything like that. But as I've said, it is very much a mechanics-focused game. And so if you're not on board with character progression, why are you playing this? Where's the exit? I'm hoping is we can end up with enough experience to get another free heal out of it. Because with all those monster rushes coming up, I don't really want to have to use a potion, but I think I might have to at this rate. Ow. Yeah, down to 41 health. I think it's potion time. It is potion time. Haven't seen any of those healing friends either. You get quite few and far between at this point. You notice now we're out of potions, we start getting this border around the screen that kind of closes in depending on how close you are to death. So that gives you a nice quick visual indicator of how much you should be worrying about your current health level. So we're okay at the minute. Would be nice to have a potion back. Would be nice to be at full health. We don't need to be overly concerned just yet. Why did you fly over there? There's a bear right there. No. That's the only downside to the bears. They just fly towards, I think, the closest target. So if that's a trap rather than an enemy, it's not super useful. But I think we can forgive them for how useful they've been on the rest of this outing. Treasure chest down there. I don't know where that mimic went. I don't know if they disappear after a while. That would certainly be in keeping with how I expect mimics to behave, but I normally kill them right away when they show up. But there are just a few too many enemies around. Don't want to do that. This is a massive level. It's okay. Big level means lots of enemies, which means lots of experience, which means lots of opportunities to get lovely, lovely, delicious loot. There's a memory rift down there. I don't think I'm going to bother with that one. Just because without the safety net of potions, I don't think I want to risk it. Oh, hello. Leave me be. You were spewing them out, aren't you? Get out of here. Get out of here. Where's the bleeding exit? This way. Ooh. That level was a bit of an ordeal. Another normal level before a huge string of monster rushes. This is going to be interesting. And no sign of bonfires either. I wonder if it's monster rushes all the way to the boss. I don't know how many floors the endgame dungeons are. I'm almost shuddering to think at this point. It's 29 floors doesn't sound like a lot, but like the first dungeon in this game is 10 floors, I think, and then it's like 12, and then like 16 or something like that. Like the jump up to 29 was a large one. compared to what had come previously. So, I'm expecting endgame dungeons to be something ridiculous, like 100 floors or something like that. But I am no stranger to such things. I have soloed Palace of the Dead in Final Fantasy XIV. Although I must admit, I need the first 100 floors on that. I haven't done the second 100 floors, because that gets a bit difficult, especially when you're by yourself. Oh, I didn't. I wasn't even paying attention to that, to the mission. It was defeat all monsters on the floor, and we got 1,260 experience. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Right. I think we're into the realm of a million monster rushes now, aren't we? Yeah, it is monster rushes all the way down to the boss. So 23, 24, 25, 26, 27... 28. Oh, that's interesting. The boss is on floor 28 rather than 29. Okay, well, let's see how it goes. It can't hurt to try. I'm not going to worry about the challenges too much. I'm just going to take my time. Oh, that's interesting. These are enemies from the first dungeon. Have we got to fight everything in the game before you fight the last boss situation? I think we have. So I guess the next one's going to have enemies from the second dungeon. Which should still be pretty easy to defeat, hopefully. Complete within 55 seconds. Alright, bring it on. I feel a bit more confident now. Yes. It is. It's a fight everything you've previously fought in the whole game. Oh, these little weasel bastards are really annoying. Oh, no. They're even dropping their crap treasure from earlier in the game. I don't need to worry too much about skills if these are weak enemies. Might not. Oh, 2 seconds, 1 second. Oh, just missed. Just missed the time limit on that one. But that's okay. Right, we should have some snowy enemies next, I imagine. Oh, there's two bosses, that's why. There's one on floor 28 and one on floor 29. Okay. Let's take our time. No need to rush. No need to panic. Ow. No need to run into the traps. Nearly leveled up. Getting a nice level up just before the boss would be very nice. Give us a full heal. "75 seconds to beat this one." Right, these ones will be a bit tougher because these are from the fourth layer, I think. So we can take quite nice advantage of that trap because they are not very bright. Right, more of those annoying weasels to deal with. Ow! Oh dear. Big things. Lots of big things. So if they keep setting that trap off. Which you can probably bait them into doing. Level up! Lovely stuff. Alright, just take it easy, we're nearly there. Stab. Alright, I think we missed the time limit on that one, but that's okay. Just one more of these to deal with. And then we're down to the last two bosses. So presumably this is going to be enemies from this dungeon. Oh, come on then. At least I am set up to exploit the weaknesses of these ones. Again, don't fret too much about the time limit. It's just complete it safely. Take them down a bit at a time. Let them set the traps off on themselves. Yep, because that's taken out a fair few of them already. Ah, a million bunnies. Ow. 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 Charge! Charge the bunnies! Fire cannons at the bunnies! The last two are just like, what? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, there's more! There's even more! You really are making me fight everything in the game, aren't you? Ow. Walked right into that one. Oh, come on. Come on now. Oh, another million bunnies. Another million bunnies. They're all coming for me. Smash. Ooh, a legendary. A rank 4 legendary as well. I bet it's not for the bloody farmer. Huh. Right, what do we pick up? No, it's not for the farmer. It's for a character I haven't leveled. Excellent. Right. Okay, 2 bosses in a row to go. We can do this. We can do this. Now, the one thing I am taking a bit of comfort from is the fact that when you reach a boss, there tends to be one of those friendly creatures that I was talking about that will give you a healing potion. Yeah, there's always a crystal. There he is. Right, so we got a potion, and we are at full health. Right, we've got a big bad to deal with. He's going to be fine, though. Let's tackle him, as we've dealt with everything, by flinging birds at him repeatedly. That's a nasty little laser attack. We can stun him, that's good. Most bosses in this have 2 phases, and in the second phase you can't do status effects on them, but the first one you can. Yeah, here we go. So second phase now. So what he'll probably do now is he'll do similar attacks, but they'll be like wider reaching or more damaging, and he's obviously got some new moves as well from the look of things. Yeah, it should be fine if we're just careful, and again, take our time, don't rush. But yeah, you see the stab move doesn't stun him anymore. The birds are still proving remarkably effective. We're nearly there, so nearly there. Come on, one more good hit. There we go. Lovely stuff. Right, bountiful bow, steel ring memory, rank 4 legendary, very nice. Rank 4 bow, that can be for the bomber. Right, what happens now? I guess true final boss. Alright, here we go. I say true final boss. It's actually just a regular final boss. Because I'm sure there's like I say, there's 2 end game dungeons after you finish this. Check. Take the princess hostage, drag out the king, and make him face justice. At this point, it's only a matter of time before that wild mob gets their hands on my daughter. How on earth did it come to this? Excuse me. I can see the common thread. The bitter complaints, baseless rumours, heartbreaking accusations, every awful utterance that caused excruciating agony. All that discontent was given voice by words. I see now. Words led my people astray. Words let them deceive and hurt their fellow man as easily as breathing. But perhaps in a world without words, I will take into me the words that drove my subjects mad and disappear with them. My fate matters little if I can return my people to their old selves and return a smile to her face. So yeah, King stole everyone's words. Not their voices, just their words. Chocolate cake recipe! What a reward. After all this, some people were racked with guilt. When they couldn't bear it, they began attempting to take their own lives out of grief. I stayed here, trying to stop them from taking that last terrible step. I did everything I could, but in the end, what little power I had just wasn't enough. Over time, my people left this land, or this life. Eventually, I was all alone. Poor old princess. I bet we're going to go and fight your daddy now. Ooh, it's dark and scary. We have got another potion. Another potion, friend. Wonderful. Every floor of the abyss has been the same. Just one fragment of the old kingdom after another. Which means we must be near the end. The throne room lies beyond. I'm sure we'll find him there. Whoops. Sorry, proofreaders. Go on, save him. Save my father from this den of malice. Alright, bring it on. Oh, what happened there? Oh no, you're going to be a bullet hell boss. You are. Stop that. Oh my god. Well, the birds are going to be working overtime on you, I can see. I should have brought a light weapon. Which way, evil man? He's not actually doing that much damage to me, though. Which is good. Oh, dodge. Just get in there and stab. This way. Let's keep the birds going. Get in there and stab. And big stab. I stunned him. Stab. Alright, that bullet hell attack doesn't have a super long range on it, so that's okay. Those ones are heavily telegraphed and they don't trigger immediately. So that's okay. Alright, his patterns are pretty straightforward. Let's hopefully then they don't get too much harder when he reaches his second phase, because you know he's going to do it. You know he's going to do it. Stab! And stun. And birds and stab. Missed. Uh-oh. Big attack. Well, here's our second phase. Uh-oh. It's a one of these, is it? Alright. Oh, shit. Okay, that's not good. Alright, so we need to deal with those more quickly next time. Glad we had that potion. Yeah, we can't stun him anymore either. Right, so I think just focus on the birds and the cone attack, because I think the big stab is probably too much of a liability at this point. Hello. Which way? This way. Come on, we're down to less than half. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm suddenly not feeling as confident. Right. That can be dodged. And if you put plenty of distance between you and him, it's a lot easier to oh, 61 hit points left. I am fucked. Dodge! Oh, I am proper fucked. Oh, bollocks. Bollocks. Ugh. I was afraid that was going to happen. Oh, we got to do that last load of floors again. It's okay though. It's okay. We got a bunch of stuff. And we kept the legendaries, that's good. You drop some stuff when you die, but not all of it. It's randomly determined what you drop. Alright. Let's get our rewards. Let's get all our stuff back. We gained some levels, so it wasn't a completely wasted trip. Let's set everyone off creating again. Cheese, cheese, petrol, cheese. I can't see the word cheese without immediately wanting to follow it up with petrol. If you've never seen that Mitchell and Webb look, that will mean nothing to you, but as the saying goes, if you know, you know. Ooh, adamantite. Yeah, let's make some of that. So I'm sure that's going to be useful for some rank 4 equipment, hopefully. Ash pole. Make a bunch of them. Right, so we know the floor 28 boss is easy. And the floor 29 boss, as long as you steer clear of those particularly devastating attacks and as long as you destroy his crystals in that that sort of mini enrage phase, we should be fine. So let's have hot milk. And let's have What's chocolate cake do? Rune gain plus 25. Let's have turnip pikery, increase our crit rate. There's a critical damage one somewhere as well. Critical damage boost 20%. Yeah, I think that should do it this time. Not worry too much about experience gain this time, because we know we can handle the rest of the dungeon. We know we can handle all those monster rushes. So, rice ball for 20% critical damage increase, and turnip ice cream for an increase of 13% to crit chance. Right, floor 20. Let's do this again. So I'm not going to worry too much about exploring every floor fully. I would like to get all those buffs again, because I'm pretty sure those were useful. But I'm not going to be too obsessive about killing everything or getting all the treasure or anything like that. Or that buff to skill damage does make a huge difference though, doesn't it? Because like these guys are taking much less damage than they were at the end of that last run. Rank 4, I will take it. Oh, you know what I meant to do that I didn't do? I didn't look at the equipment we found. Actually, and there's some other things that I think would be wise to do as well, so let's call this trip off before we get into it. Oh. No crystal. Okay, well let's find a crystal and then head back. Because there's some things I want to do that will hopefully make life a little bit easier this time. Now I just have to find said crystal first. There it is. Right. Take me home. Right, yes. Very good. Okay. So let's have a look at what legendaries we have. There's a legendary steel ring. Max hit points 24%. Skill cooldown 9.2%. 15% experience gain. Is that better than having 45% defense? So that's defense 178, 193. I think that legendary might be better just for the added benefits. So we need some adamantite for that, so we can rush our alchemist. Let's use some of our sands of time and that. Okay, so create ring, steel ring memory. And then equip that. And pop the... I'm going to swap out the Magistone in here, so I'm going to put the... Put a light stone in my weapon. So we're dealing light damage to that last boss. And then that means I can put a dark stone in the ring, which will hopefully protect a bit more against a lot of his attacks. Very rank. Someone with some good abilities, please. Critical damage boost, strength increase, crit increase. Crit and attack speed. No, critical damage boost. Let's have that one. Right. That should sort us out right proper, like. So again, let's make a hot milk. Let's make sure we got some rice balls for critical damage boost. What was the other one? Turnip ice cream, wasn't it? I'm short on milk. I'm no longer short on milk. Right, turnip ice cream if you please. Thank you very much. I don't know why you're frying it, but I won't ask. Right, turnip ice cream, hot milk, and rice ball. Right, this is the one. It is our time to shine. Hey Ken, hope you're having a good time with Flight Simulator. I haven't played that for a while. I'm probably going to try and get back into it with Flight Simulator 2024 because that's looking very interesting. I'm very interested in the career mode of that. It's something they've not really done in Flight Simulator before, so I'm going to be very interested to see how well that's implemented and how well it works. But a good career mode in the simulation is something I enjoy quite a bit, as my many hours spent in Euro Truck Simulator will happily attest. Yeah, the one downside now is that it's going to take... The light element stuff is going to take a bit more of a beating, but it's okay. It's okay. We have time. Schmuloid. What a good name. Right, again, not gonna stress too much about clearing out the entire floor. Not gonna stress too much about missions. Just want to make sure we get through with a couple of potions intact. With plenty of hit points. And in a good position to take on that last boss. And of course, keep flinging birds at people. Looking forward to cargo ops and express flights in smaller airliners. I haven't dared to try any of the airliners because they are frightening. they have too many buttons and I don't know what any of them do. I'm sure like anything else, it's just a case of learning them. I'm sure to plenty of people just flying a standard light aircraft like a Cessna or something is daunting, and I've picked that up over the years. But yeah, the airliners are certainly intriguing. I wonder if it will, if the career mode will actually take the time to teach you those. Because that would be something I'd be quite interested to see. Is if it actually gives you some decent flying lessons in how to handle the more complicated aircraft. Anyway, regardless of how it turns out, I'm looking forward to giving it a try. And it's not long to wait now, I don't think, isn't it? It's like the 19th of November or something, I think. So I won't be streaming that, unfortunately, because my my streaming PC is only really up to streaming consoles. Because I'm using a little mini PC for streaming. And my main gaming PC, which I would use to run Flight Simulator on, is downstairs in the living room, which is not a super conducive setup to streaming, which is a shame. Built-in checklist help for sure. Okay, so yeah, there may well be some stuff in there already. I haven't really explored a lot of Flight Simulator 2020, to be honest. I'm sure there's a lot of helpful information that's already in there that I've probably missed. But yeah, if they can make that even more accessible in 2024, I will be a happy virtual pilot for sure. I've been trying to convince my dad to get a new PC so he can play it, because my dad he's always been a real propeller head, and as I grew up, he was always playing Flight Simulator 2 on the Atari ST. Initially on the Atari 8-bit, but then when the Atari ST version came out, he was obsessed with that. And then he played a lot of Flight Simulator 4 and 5 and a bit of 95 and various others. Kind of lost track of how many versions there have been over there. I think the last one he really played seriously was FSX, though. So both me and my mum have been trying to convince him to buy a new PC that will run Flight Simulator 2020 or 2024. And I think last time I went home, we nearly got there. We nearly got there and convinced him, but I don't think he's quite pulled the trigger yet. But I think he'll have a good time with it. He's I don't know if he's actually flown a real plane, but he used to fly gliders when he was a younger man, and he's always been incredibly interested in aviation and the simulation thereof. So back when me and my brother and him were all writing for Page 6 magazine, the Atari computer magazine here in this country, he was the resident flight simulator specialist. And so that means we always got review copies of the old of all the microprose flight simulators and stuff like that. So which I've still got on the shelves behind me, stuff like F-15 Strike Eagle 2, F-19 Stealth Fighter, all that kind of thing. Lots of wonderful sims. Very few of which come even vaguely close to Flight Simulator in terms of actual accuracy, but they were enjoyable to play and they were accessible. That was a key thing. The great thing about the microprose stuff is that even when they were simulating complex aircraft and weapon systems, they were very accessible and understandable. And even as a kid, I could get on really well with them. I could fly those planes. I could land them. I could use all the weapon systems and that sort of thing. And it was great. It was great. I miss that we don't have anywhere near as many flight sims these days as we used to. And I find it kind of surprising, to be honest. Because we've got the tech to do them really well now. So why aren't we? Why isn't the market flooded with amazing flight simulators? I guess it's because people assume that the market is stitched up by a combination of Microsoft Flight Simulator and DCS World. I guess that's the assumption. And the folks who would have been developing flight simulators are now developing add-ons for those games rather than making completely standalone things. Which sort of makes sense, I guess. But it's also a bit of a shame. All you had growing up was Falcon 3. Falcon 3 is great. I played a lot of Falcon 3. I used to love the dynamic campaign in that. It's one of those games where I took pleasure in the little things. Like I used to really love that the loading screen was trying to make out that you were establishing a satellite uplink. But yeah, Falcon 3 is a superb game. Never really tried Falcon 4, which I know a lot of people are very fond of. But I actually got the original Falcon on Atari ST as well. That was quite an early one that I got to grips with. And one of the more realistic ones. Not necessarily in terms of flight model, but in terms of complexity. A lot of systems and things to learn in Falcon. And it doesn't overly simplify the avionics and that sort of thing. And it had great sound on the Atari ST as well. Because all the sound was digitized. So it had this great rumbling engine noise. And it had a speech for all the warning systems and things. I forget the nickname they used to give to the voice in the F-16, but it had a less than complimentary nickname because of it nagging you. Sort of nagging you about getting too low or having your engines on too high power. There is a similar sim on the A500 Mini. That's Digital Integration's F-16 Combat Pilot, which I was really surprised they put on there, to be honest, because that's a really detailed flight sim as well. Again, with a lot of detail in the systems and the avionics and that sort of thing. And there's no keyboard on the A500 Mini, so they've done a decent job of mapping a lot of the controls to the joypad. But it's one of those games where plugging in a keyboard is a good idea. Thankfully, you can do that. The A500 Mini is a little bit short on USB ports. It's only got 3 USB ports in total. So you have to, if you want to plug in a keyboard, you need to either plug in a powered hub or give up either your mouse or your joystick. Or your USB stick that's got external games on, I suppose. And yeah, I guess that wouldn't matter too much if it's one of the built-in games. So yeah, it's there and it is playable. For some reason, I didn't really get into that one as much as Falcon, even though it's a similar sort of tier of complexity. For some reason, I just found Falcon a lot more appealing. I don't know if it was literally just something as shallow as liking the digitized sounds for more, because the F-16 Combat Pilot just had synthesized sounds using the ST sound chip rather than digital sound. And I don't know if it was just as simple as the fact I found Falcon's digital sound more convincing and realistic and by extension exciting, but there you have it. The strange decisions you make when you're young. But yeah, always been very fond of flight sims. And it's a shame we don't have more, but like I say, it is also sort of understandable. Because I think someone who is heavily invested in, say, the Flight Simulator 2020 ecosystem is more likely to shell out 30 or 40 quid for a new aircraft than they are to shell out 30 or 40 quid on a new flight sim that they would then have to learn all the controls for, configure their controllers, all that sort of thing. So I guess it makes sense. It's just a shame there's not more competition. Oh, I need to try and get that that skill buff from the sage, don't I? How are we doing on just one crystal on this level so far? Let's see if we can find another one. Yeah, they absolutely are platforms in their own right. As the I find it really amusing that the variety of stuff that people have done on Flight Simulator, including stuff that it was clearly never designed for. Like I downloaded a boat for it at one point, and okay, it wasn't amazing and it didn't quite work properly, but they managed to make it work enough that it was playable. It was playable. You could take a trip down the River Thames in a boat in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, which I thought was terribly amusing. But then they've done stuff like vehicles like the flying boat to go along with things like the seaplanes and stuff like that. So yeah, it is an incredibly flexible platform. And hopefully that's going to continue with 2024. And looking forward to see how it's going to perform, because supposedly the new one is more sort of efficient and optimized than 2020 was. And I got 2020 to a point where it was running pretty well on my system, although just at 1080p rather than 4K, but I can't really run anything at a super impressive frame rate at 4K, and to be honest I don't really care because I can't see that much difference. But yeah, if the whole thing is even more efficient, that'll be good, because it will hopefully make it accessible to more people as well. Because I know a fair few people probably held off on buying it in the first place because they thought they needed a mega PC to really be able to enjoy it. And certainly when I first bought it, my graphics card was up to the job, but my processor wasn't. So I bought a new motherboard and processor for my PC, and it made a huge difference. I wasn't prepared for quite how much difference the processor would make. I'd got to a stage where I thought sort of upgrading the graphics card was the main thing you wanted to do when you were making your PC better. But stuff like Flight Simulator is just as intensive on the processor, so upgrading that makes a huge difference. Processor also had a huge impact on Final Fantasy XIV as well, because a lot of that is very processor based as well, dealing with calculating and displaying the positions of lots of player characters at the same time and communicating with the internet and that sort of thing. It's interesting. I haven't really thought about upgrading my PC for quite a while. So I bought the mini PC that I'm streaming the Switch through via this, primarily as a work thing. It's actually surprisingly capable for gaming. Everything outside of sort of intense, graphically impressive AAA stuff, it handles surprisingly well. Like, it will run that Wizardry remake by Digital Eclipse. it'll run emulation beautifully. Oh, I was completely ignoring that mission with trying to get a combo bonus of 16. That's not happening. That is not happening. Never mind. Like I say, my main priority is I want to find another crystal. Except there isn't one, I don't think. Okay, no buff for me on this level then. Maybe there will be one on the next level. Where am I going? Down here. So, one more floor to get that buff in place before we are in Monster Rush Town once again. Right, what have we got this time? Defeat all monsters on this floor. I guess we'll see how that goes. Getting a lot more rank 4 treasures now, which is good. Although none of them have been for the bloody farmer. Stab! It's nice to be able to kill those witches a bit more easily. Yeah, it's a tricky one, this, with the enemies being split roughly equally between light and dark element. Because it means that there isn't really an optimal... Oops! Ow. It means there isn't really an optimal setup, because you're always going to be the wrong element for for some of the enemies. I mean, there is the alternative, which is you can use something called a void stone, which means that you can't take advantage of elemental weaknesses, but you also don't suffer from elemental strengths either. But I think on balance, having the damage bonus for some enemies is better than having no damage bonus at all. Right, how are we doing on experience? We're getting close to level 39. We're getting close. I don't know if that trial will take us all the way to the top. Right, there's one crystal. I think that's the only one we've found on this level so far, isn't it? So I would really like that damage buff from the sage. But yeah, it's definitely going to be worth having this light element weapon when dealing with that boss at the end. Because I think if we were dealing a bit more damage to him, I think we could have probably survived that last encounter. Oh, missed. So I'm hoping this run is the one where we finish it. So what I'm planning to do is, if we can finish off the story dungeons for this today, I'll probably then go and take a break and go and have some dinner, and then we'll be back later in the evening, my time, and we'll play some Mon U then, which I started streaming last week and was having a lot of fun with. But I just felt like playing a bit of this because I've been playing a lot of this recently. I've been really enjoying it. And I'm quite excited to nearly be at the end of the story. Alright, we're into Monster Rush Town now, aren't we? Right, but I think we should be okay to swap out characters, because I think the crystal always appears at the start of the floor. At least I hope that's the case. Because if it isn't, I may well be fucked. Oh, there's 2 crystals on this floor anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's fine. Right. Let's get that damage bonus I've been complaining about. Alright, so switchy. If you're just joining and you aren't familiar with how this game works, when you switch characters mid-run like this, they give each other buffs. So switching from the farmer to something is given a buff to movement speed. Switching from the sage back to the farmer gives an increase in 20% of skill power. So that's one that's very much worth having if you're using a lot of skills, which I am. So we've now got both of those buffs applied. I can't remember what any of the others were. Oh, one was skill cooldown, wasn't it? I think that was the archer. So if we got 2 crystals on this next floor, I may well take that one as well. So these monster rushes are pretty straightforward to get through. We should level up soon as well. That will heal us fully. So if you missed the first time around these monster rushes here, these are going through all the enemies from all the previous dungeons and fighting all of them before we reach the final boss. So currently we're fighting the enemies that appeared in the second dungeon. Right, have we got 2? No, we just got 1 this time. That's a shame. Alright, on to the next. So this monster rush is all enemies from the 3rd dungeon, which are all sort of icy, snowy themed. Again, fall pretty easily to my level 39 self, especially if you can lure them into those traps in the middle. Oh, paralyzed. Yeah, these traps do pretty heavy damage to monsters. They do a bit of damage to you, but they do like 1200 damage to monsters, so they are worthwhile. Oh, just 1 crystal on this one as well. Okay, I don't think we're going to get any more buffs. but it's okay. I say I love how casual the characters like. Well, they're leaping headlong into the abyss. They're just like, yeah, I'll just sit back and relax. Right, bring it on, fiery enemies. Oh, stab. Yeah, let's make ow. Make good use of that trap again. Stabby, stabby, stabby. Very good. Alright, it's going comfortably. Again, I'm not worrying too much about doing those missions because the experience is nice, but it's not super important right now. What is important right now is just surviving and making sure we're in a good position to take on that fight. Oh, I just missed that one though. Just making sure we're in a good state to take on that final boss. Because the last but one boss is dead easy. But the final one, as we saw, is a bit of a nasty bugger. Right, last one. Again, this is where having our light element weapon is going to hurt a bit, because could really do with dark element to deal with these guys. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all good. Just deal with them a bit at a time. Repeatedly fling birds at them, as we have been doing for the last 2 hours. Oh. Walk into cannonballs. Stab! Take full advantage of those traps. Because those 1200 point hits certainly mount up. Oh, it's the million bunny rampage, this one, isn't it? Million bunnies! Stab through the middle. Come on, smash. Smash. Oh, there's another wave of these buggers, isn't there? Great. Oh, that looked like a rank 4 earring. I could do with some of that. Yep, here comes some more. Ouch. Need to start being a little bit more careful from here on. Stop walking into... It's fine. We get a healing potion restore on the next level. Another wave of bunnies coming up, I think. Oh no. Big robots first. It's fine, I can do this. I can do this. Because I believe. Here they come. Here come the million bunnies. Here they come. Stab through the middle. Stab through the middle. There we go. Taking them out a bit at a time. Slice. Nearly there. Nearly there. So nearly there. So very nearly there. Ugh. Right. Well, actually, I think... Oh, there's no crystal on this level. Gosh darn it. Right. Thankfully, this next boss is pretty easy. And I don't think he had an elemental weakness. So it shouldn't matter that we've gone light element. Right, get a nice heal and restore our potions to full. You don't scare me, big stumpy robot. I've got a pitchfork and birds. Yeah, this guy being weak to piercing really helps. Well, don't get cocky though. He can still hit pretty hard. Phase 2. In phase 2 you can't stun him, so need to be a little bit more careful. But most of all, just keep flinging birds at him. That is the reliable route to victory with the farmer. Birds. Birds everywhere. Don't you laser me. We will have none of that, sir. None of that. Right. Death to you. Rank 4. Oh, that's a thing for the farmer. Ooh, and a unidentified legendary. Right. Let me through, Daddy dearest. Right, this time it's all gonna be fine. Right, quick heal. Lovely stuff. Full potions, and we are ready to go. The king who stole everyone's words. He shall now become a monster of pure malice. I'm not sure what causes that. Because that looks like the statues you get the challenges from. Oh yeah, we do way more damage to him this time. We should also take a lot less damage from him. Oh, stop that. Birds, that's what you need. Right in your face. Stab you. I stab you. Oh, he's going to do his big scary thing now. Right, destroy the crystals quickly. Because when we didn't last time, that ended badly, didn't it? Quick, hurry up. Ah, got him. Right. Stab. Stab. Oh, he's missing even. You're no match for the farmer. Stab. Oh, ow. Oh. Not a good place to stand. Oh yeah, that dark protection on our armor is really paying off. You doing that again? You doing that again? Oh, but with more. But with more crystals. That's not good. There we go. Nicely done. He's nearly down. Oh, that was stupid. That was also stupid. Oh, that move is quite painful still. Is he going to get up and do something else? Is he going to turn into an even gianter monster, or have we done it? I think we might have done it. We've done it. Look at a king. Isn't he a nice looking man? I was expecting him to look like your typical anime king with the beard and, you know. Oh, loot! Oh, wow. Legendary loot. Lots of legendary loot. Thank you very much indeed. Now what? This way? Farther. Just a little farther. I must keep going. Such thoughts have carried me this far, but I fear I won't last much longer. These words laden with malice threaten to drown me. I feel myself slipping away. Oh, seven lights of hope, what little benevolence remains within me. I beg of you, scour the world for 7 brave souls full of virtue and guide them here. This insatiable malice will consume me whole ere long. Therefore you must seal me away with this abyss and all within it. I pray that malicious words will never lead my people astray ever again. Forget that. Loot! Turnip cake! I think we've done it. Okay, we auto advance. This is that what that's for.
国は滅んだのか。私は何を頑張っていたのだろうな。
お父様、ごめんなさい。あの時の私はお父様の話なんて聞かず、私にできることは国民に寄り添うことだけだと信じていました。でも一番最初にお父様の話をちゃんと聞けばよかった。きっと思っているだけじゃ伝わらないこともあるのだから。
私ももっとお前を頼ればよかったのだ。すまなかった。ありがとう、フレデリカ。
久しぶりに名前を呼ばれました。名前を呼ばれ
Yeah, so the Japanese name for this game is a spoiler. Because this game is called Frederica in Japan.
今からでも構いません。お父様の話を聞かせてください。あの時何があったのか、どうして何も言わずに去ってしまったのか、それを知ることで前に進める気がするから。
ああ、もちろんだ。そして私の魂の願いに応えてくれた勇敢な7人の戦士たち、君たちにも礼を言わせてくれ。
本当にありがとう。ここで暮らすあなたたちを見て、平和だったあの頃が戻ってきたように思えました。身勝手な感想ですが、あなたたちと過ごせてとても幸せでした。あなたたちがこれから紡ぐ未来にはもっと多くの幸福が訪れることでしょう。私たちの国に起きたようなことが二度と繰り返されないよう心から祈っています。
And we are finished. Or finished the main story anyway. As like I said earlier, after beating those 5 story dungeons in it, we got more story. I will shut up.
言葉は世界中に帰って行きました。言葉を取り戻した人々は感情を伝え合うことの喜びをかみしめました。それから7人の戦士たちはこれまでの冒険を人々に語って聞かせました。もし誰かが悪意に飲まれても言葉でそれを諭し合えるように、もう誰も一人で悩みを抱えて一人で解決しようとすることがないように。そして強く心優しい王とちょっと泣き虫な姫のことをみんながずっと覚えていられるように。王と姫はその様子を空から見守り続けることでしょう。いつまでもいつまでも。
We done? Nope, there's more.
姫様、いなくなっちゃったな。
They can speak.
姫様がいないとここは静かですね。
仕方ないさ。
ああ、
これがきっと姫さんにとっての幸せなんだ。
そっか。そうだな。
寂しいけど頑張らなきゃ。お姫様の最後のお願い叶えてあげないとね。
そうですわね。
姫様、俺たち精一杯やってみます。だからどうか安心して見守っていてください。よし、じゃあみんな行こう。俺たちの新たな使命を果たしに。
And that whole new adventure. Oh, we're going back into the dungeon. That whole new adventure is hard and master mode. Oh, we got any interaction credits. Brilliant. Yeah, there's hard and master mode for all of the built-in dungeons. Oh, there! Oh, the credits and the loot. That's awesome. And then there's 2 post-game dungeons as well. So there's 5 main game dungeons. Then there's these 2 post-game dungeons. I think all of them, including the post-game dungeons, have hard and master difficulties as well, which gives you better loot and tougher enemies and all that sort of thing. This is one of the most delightfully silly credit sequences I've ever seen. No, like it's all the low level enemies as well, so you can just bash your way through them. Are you sure you want to leave this special floor? Let's listen to the music for a bit longer. There's some enemies you missed anyway. This music just kind of loopers and into it. I'm just looking at the lyrics that are coming up on screen. It's a nice and charming little story, this game. Like I said earlier on, this is not a game where storytelling is the emphasis by any means. It's very mechanics focused, but I really like the concept of there being so much hatred in the world that the king thought his only option was to take words away from everyone, so they couldn't express that hatred. But then that also meant that people couldn't express compassion for one another. They couldn't apologise for things they'd done wrong. I think that's a really nice and poignant concept, particularly in the world we live in today, unfortunately. And I think messages like that are really important. So yes, this is a fun and silly game about hacking and slashing monsters and getting lots of loot and all that sort of thing. But it's also it's got a nice message. Right, so what happens now? I got experience and stuff from that as well. Oh, or is that from... That's from my boss run, isn't it? Congratulations, you've rescued the king and fulfilled the princess's wish, but it seems like something has changed somewhere deep within the abyss. So let's appraise these first. This is our fat loot that we got. All the characters are talking now. So what do we got? You got a scutum memory, bitter tears memory, and royal solitude memory. So we've got some rank 4 weapons for everyone. Challenge missions. Cleared the dying castle. And what was the other one? I didn't read it. Oh well. Okay, anyway. So as you can see from these missions, there's still a lot to do once you've quote unquote finished this game. Once you've beaten the story. So you've got these extra layers of dungeon to do, which we won't go into now, but I'll just have a look at what the map says. Hear me, enemies of malice. Delve even deeper into the abyss. A greater darkness awaits you at its nadir. Find it and slay it, if you can. Ha ha ha. Unlocked hard mode. Beat the game to unlock harder difficulty modes. You'll face stronger monsters on hard and master modes, but will also find equipment far better than anything available in normal mode. So we've now got this floor 6 abyssal forest. But if you want to do hard mode, you have to jump straight into... you have to go back to the beginning, basically. The wild slumbering in the very depths of the abyss. They invite great warriors to face even greater malice. Recommended element. All of them. Except dark. Okay. Right. Anyway. We won't get into that today because I've been going for 3.5 hours and I need a bit of a break to go and have some dinner. So what I'm going to do, I am going to take a break and go and have some dinner. I'll take the stream offline while we do that, so I can archive this game footage separately from what we'll do later. And in about 2 hours time or so, I will come back and we'll play some Monu, which is what we started last week. And I was having a lot of fun with. But I wanted to see if I could polish this off today. And I thought, since I was going to be playing this anyway, I might as well show it to you on stream. And yeah, those of you who have been hanging out, I hope you've enjoyed both the game. They're all chatting now. I hope you've enjoyed the gameplay and the conversation and all of that. And yeah, I guess it just remains for me to say, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.